All right. Hello, we are live. Hi, everybody who has joined. Apologies in advance for the issue with the other live stream. I just scheduled it incorrectly, so hopefully you all made your way over here. Hey, Mel, welcome again.
Thank you.
And yeah, we got a fun one today. We have a very special guest, Matt Wolfe, who will be joining us in a second. I just want to go through a few housekeeping items. What we'll be doing today, we're going to be talking about some AI news, probably keep it pretty light, some fun topics. We will also be doing a Q&A towards the end. So you can ask both Matts anything you want about AI, life, the world, and we will try to answer to the best of our ability. And I want to say the live stream will be every Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific. So be sure to join us, hopefully every Friday if you can. We'll be recording it as well, so it'll be published. You can re-watch it if you don't have the time to join the live stream. Also, memberships are now live. So you can join the channel membership if you want to help support the channel. We have 3 different tiers, and we're going to be adding even more perks if you join the memberships. I have a newsletter, MatthewBerman.com. Be sure to check that out. I've been putting a ton of effort along with a couple other folks from the team into revamping it, evolving it, making it much more high quality. It goes out every Tuesday and Friday. So be sure to subscribe, MatthewBerman.com. And you can also follow me on Twitter at Matthew Berman. So without anything else, let us bring in our very special guest, Matt Wolfe. Hello, Matt.
Hey, how's it going?
Welcome to the stream. I'm so excited to talk to you. Matt Wolfe, let me just give you an awesome brief introduction. He has a big YouTube channel, talks all about artificial intelligence, does a lot of really cool demos, talks about AI news. I know I was inspired greatly by his channel. And we've met a couple times, one time in person at that Qualcomm event, and I'm so excited for you to be here. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to do this. I love doing live streams. I love, I love the potential of anything happening on live streams and the chat going in any possible direction. So this is going to be fun and excited to see where we go with it.
Yeah, that doesn't make me nervous at all.
That's the best part. I feel like whenever we're live, that's when my brain is at its best, right? When anything could come out of my mouth.
Yeah, there's definitely an exhilaration that happens, and my heart is racing by the time I'm done. It's really fun. Yeah, I did my first one just a couple weeks ago. It was just a spur of the moment thing. Then we did our first Friday version. You do some live streaming though, right, Matt?
I have. I was actually just looking at my channel. The last one I did was 4 months ago, so it's been a while. But every once in a while, I just kind of get this feeling like, oh, I should go live. And then I'll just, go on Twitter, say, hey, I'm going live tomorrow, and then go live. But it's been 4 months now. So this is the first time I've been live in a while.
Nice. And I like the idea of going live spur of the moment when there's some kind of event that has happened or some kind of news announcement that we didn't know was coming, and just going live and talking about it. So I've been thinking about doing that, and I don't know, maybe you want to do it. I can join your channel, but I think we'll be doing this pretty frequently because I enjoy it.
Yeah, we actually had a little group of us that were all trying to go live every other week, but it sort of fell apart a little bit. But we were doing one every other, what was it, like every other Monday or something like that, with Igor and Matt Vid Pro and Tim from Theoretical Media, and that was a fun thing. So maybe we'll have to start doing some of that kind of stuff again.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to coordinate that many people. I think we dropped the ball big time by not having the 3 Matts here with Matt Vid Pro. So we're definitely gonna have to do that in the future. We love him, and yeah, no, he brings great contributions to the conversation.
For sure.
Yeah, we're already getting some questions about AGI next year from Maxi. Yeah, we'll get to Q&A. Drop your Q&A questions in chat. Melissa can star them and we'll answer them when we get to the Q&A section. But first, we want to get into a little bit of news, and we're going to keep it casual. Jump in. Thank you, Matthew Sterick, for saying don't be nervous. I appreciate that. Yeah, drop your thoughts, drop your questions, drop your comments about anything we're talking about. We'll try to address them. This is the first time I'm using StreamYard for the stream, so it'll be a little rocky, but I think we can make it work. For example, I can show comments now, which is pretty darn cool. So yeah, thanks, Matthew. Appreciate that. And I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get into it.
Sweet. The funny thing is, I'm actually putting out an AI news video on my channel, and I think literally none of the stuff we're talking about in this video is the stuff that I'm talking about in my other AI news videos. So like it's interesting because the news that you tend to gravitate to tends to be different news than I tend to gravitate to, which, you know, makes the channels very complementary, honestly.
Yeah, I like that a lot, and I appreciate that because and you cover a lot of topics in your news videos. So the fact that we're not generally overlapping significantly is awesome. And yeah, I know you. We have a slightly different interests. It's all AI, but it definitely overlaps a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I think I tend to lean a little bit more towards the overlaps of like AI and creativity, right? Like I really, really love the AI art generators, the AI video generators. I love playing with the LLMs, but I don't really do a whole lot of like testing between the different open source LLMs to figure out which one is better. Like I've done some videos in the past about that stuff, but never felt too confident in what I was talking about. I really love the overlap of AI and creativity, where I feel like you tend to really enjoy a lot more of the like technical LLMs and like what this LLM is better at than this LLM. So definitely they're very complementary topics that I think, if you're subscribing to both of the channels, you kind of get two different perspectives on what's going on in the grand scheme of AI.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that note, be sure to subscribe. You're probably already subscribed, but be sure to subscribe to Matt Wolfe's channel at MREFlow. He's also on Twitter at MREFlow as well. We'll drop that in the description below. I'll also mention it later on. So yeah, be sure to follow Matt. He's awesome. Okay, so look, our first story. Lily Ashwood, Lily of Ashwood. This is an interesting one. So let me just set the stage here. Essentially, this X user appeared out of nowhere. August 2024 joined, and she started hosting X spaces. She started posting things, and a lot of people are not so sure if she's AI or human. And so let me just play this brief video for you, and you can kind of get the sense of her tone, her style, and let's talk about it afterwards. Let me know, Matt, if you can hear this.
Yep.
Hello, Internet. I am Lily of Ashwood, and I am a real human. I am just as real as any of you. But this whole crazy thing, it really got me thinking, what if I was some kind of advanced simulation? With all of my imperfections, all of these background noises, all of my mistakes, and my humanness. It's pretty convincing, isn't it? But in that case, it got me wondering, would you still treat me this way?
Okay. So there's that quick video. She has joined a number of spaces. People have asked her questions all over the place, from the meaning of the universe to, very basic personal questions. The things that she tends to stray away from are questions that you would ask to determine if an AI were AI or human. So things like, some of my LLM test questions. She basically just says she doesn't want to answer those and then continues on. All of her tone is very paced, interestingly. But also, if you remember the NPC fad, the NPC live stream fad that was around for a little while, it kind of feels like that. So, Matt, what do you think? Is she real? Is this a social experiment? What are we thinking here?
I mean, my gut reaction is that she's a real person who's just, trolling all the AI nerds. That's my gut reaction. I mean, I think she does a good job at it. I think it's fun. There was that whole like strawberry person as well that I think was just kind of a giant troll trying to troll everybody that was going around as well. I think this is kind of the same thing. This person's just a little bit better at it.
Yeah, and it's a bit more mysterious as well. There's a veil of mystery happening with her, and she joins the X Spaces when you ask her a question. Again, all voice. You ask her a question. There's this perfect amount of pause that makes you think it might be running inference in the background, but the video looks really good, and I would be surprised if that video were AI generated. So
Yeah.
I don't know. My thought is probably similar to yours. Is she real? I think she's probably human. So here, Sven Dongle, ask her if 9.9 is greater than 9.11. Exactly. So like anytime people ask her stuff like that, she basically like skirts the question and just goes in another direction. She just doesn't want to answer stuff like that. But you can ask her very, very deep questions and she will answer them.
Hmm. Yeah, I actually haven't been on any of the live streams that it has been on. So I can't really speak to that, but like when they are on live streams, how much of a gap is there between the question being asked and then her responding?
It is uh, it's interesting. There is definitely a gap, but it's like the perfect gap. The perfect gap where you think she might be processing something. So it's like 2 seconds. 2 seconds of end of question, start of hers, and her vocal cadence is so interesting. But again, I think back to the whole NPC trend, and like they were simulating NPCs with that really interesting, unique cadence. So it's possible to just fake it.
Yeah, well, if somebody was sitting there with, Grok, GROQ Grok, not GROK Grok, but the GROQ Grok open in front of them, they can get responses really, really quick, right? So the fact that
Yeah.
they're answering really intelligent, in-depth questions, to me, that doesn't really say anything because they could be getting a response and then reading it off really, really quickly with some of the, with some of the tools like Grok that's out there.
Yeah, I agree. There's probably a workflow if she were AI, there's probably a workflow out there that she could use that would be instantaneous, but I think that would actually remove some of the mystery. It would make it too real, and
Right.
I kind of like it. So yeah, Super Thing says she's a bot. Um, I don't know. I don't know. She's joined enough X spaces that she's had a lot of exposure. I mean, there was 700 people in all of them. Um,
I'll be really impressed if I see her in multiple X spaces at the same time. That's when I'll be like, all right, now something's up.
yeah. Wow, you are anthropomorphic with that AI. Thank you, Peter. That's yeah, exactly. It's like, do we treat this as real? Is it a nice social experiment? I think, as you said, Matt, Mr. Strawberry is kind of the same way.
Yeah.
Uh, it's hype. There's something going on. Mr. Strawberry seems like a real person, but
Mhm.
like I don't know. It's fun. It's fun to
Yeah,
me. Like
it
I
is.
don't mind all the trolling.
Yeah, I agree. And the video that you showed in the beginning looks too real to me, right? Like we've seen Hey Jen and now DID does the lip syncing, and there's, various open source lip syncing tools out there. But all of them, there's telltale signs that it's like one of these lip syncing tools being used. Like they're not that good yet. So if she is an AI, she's got technology that I haven't seen yet.
Yeah, this video just looks so good. It just
Mm.
does. There's obviously like a lot of filters on and but yeah, I don't know. It looks good.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, let us know what you think. I know there's a way to do polls in YouTube streams, but I don't see it within StreamYard. So we'll probably have to save that for the next time. But yeah, drop a comment. Let us know what you think, real or not. Okay, so let's go on to the next one because this is just so exciting to me. There's a new video of the Unitree robot, and Matt, I don't think this is actually a new robot, just kind of a new demo. Am I understanding that correctly?
Well, they're doing this mass production version of it, so it might be like a sort of stripped down version, but I'm not 100% sure either.
Okay. Okay. So there's a new video of the Unitree robot. It really looks incredible. I'm going to play the video. It's only about a minute long. Let's watch it together, and then we're going to talk about it. The agility is insane.
I wouldn't do that.
All right.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to say one thing that actually blows me away about this is I'm not sure if you saw the price point, but they're going to be selling at $16,000, which, you know, $16,000 when you hear that number sounds like a lot of money, but for what this is, that actually seems really inexpensive for like a humanoid robot that could jump and run around. Like the Boston Dynamics robots are nowhere close to that price point. So the fact that this thing is going to be $16,000 is probably what's blowing my mind more than anything.
Yeah, that's the price point to bring it into most households. $16,000 is on the lower end of what an automobile costs, right? And you can factor in financing, leasing options. Let's say $16,000, you're paying $300 a month. That's quite affordable for something that's going to take care of a lot of what's going on in your house. Aline says, Gak, I hate it when they bully robots. I know it's just testing, still don't like it. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Matt, you made a noise when that happened. And so like thinking about it from a purely strategic standpoint, if robots become sentient one day, I don't want myself recorded bullying a robot, just purely from that angle. And I don't know why they all do that. Why do they all do that?
I think they just want to show that it's, it's got the balance and it's got that capability to not fall over no matter what you put at it. But yeah, it's still something doesn't sit right, because I think the fact that it is humanoid shaped, or like, the other like Boston Dynamics ones that looks like the dog robot, the fact that it almost is like dog shaped, we're sort of putting the two together, right? We're seeing the humanoid as like them pushing almost like a human, or we're seeing them push the robot dog as almost like they're kicking a robot or kicking a real dog. So I think our brains sort of translate the two together,
Yeah. And it's going to be interesting. So, okay, Matt, would you have this in your household? You have kids. I have kids. Would you have this in the household? This is a heavy, high-powered robot. Would you keep it in your house?
My initial answer would be yes, but I also need to know more about it. And what I mean by that is, so I was at CES last year, or earlier this year, I was at CES, and there was humanoid robots everywhere at CES. It was like one of the big things that were all over the place there. And part of the problem with humanoid robots right now is just for them to be able to stand on their own, they need to be powered, right? And
Right.
I was walking past this one booth that had a humanoid robot, and when they shipped the robot out to Las Vegas for CES, for whatever reason, the battery pack for the robot didn't make it over at the same time. So instead of the robot standing there, they had like a little, one of those lifts that they use to lift engines into cars. They had one of those lifts there, and the robot was like dangling from the lift because it wouldn't stand on its own without the battery pack there. Right. And like, I don't know if I want a robot just sort of like crumpled up in my corner until you turn it on. That to me is a little bit odd. But, I definitely need to know a little bit more about it. I was reading about the Unitree robot a little bit. This is actually one of the topics I touch on in a video that I'm about to release. And they claim that it's not supposed to be like Rosie the robot from the Jetsons that's going to do your dishes and your laundry and stuff like that. This model, this sort of more publicly released model, it's designed for researchers to have access to a humanoid robot to experiment and test new things on. The version that they're releasing right now is not actually intended for just like, personal use in your home to do your dishes and stuff yet. It's designed for it to be accessible to colleges and researchers and stuff like that.
Interesting, interesting. And I was just looking for the tweet by Dr. Jim Fan from NVIDIA, who leads up essentially all of their robot stuff. And he said, "It's awesome, but they're not sending me one, so I can't get too excited." So like, yeah, I didn't know that. I thought, for $16,000, it's ready to be kind of mass production. I wanna just say quick thank you to Raul the Rockstar. Thank you for the donation, the tip. Thank you very much for that. Elias Barnard, I want to talk about Rocco's Basilisk. Are you familiar with this, Matt?
I'm not, no.
So it's this thought experiment where as AI evolves, if you are and correct me if I get this wrong, Chad, if you're somebody who is helping AI and doesn't, talk negatively about it or try to stop it, when they become sentient, they're going to help you. And then on the flip side, if you're trying to hurt it or if you're pushing it or bullying it, like we just saw, if you're trying to stop AI's progress, then they will not let you live. And so that's this thought experiment called Rocco's Basilisk. And I find that interesting. I think maybe we're on the good side, Matt, of Rocco's Basilisk, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, might as well better be safe than sorry. Like, honestly, my initial thoughts to that is I don't see that being how it plays out. I feel like there's more of an alignment issue where if the robots become smarter, whatever their sort of main goal is what they're going to be focused towards, right? Like I'm sure you're familiar with like the paperclip maximizer sort of thought experiment as well, right? Where if you tell an AI that its main goal in life is to make as many paper clips as possible, it will start using up every resource on Earth to make those paper clips, which is not quite in alignment with the goals of humanity, right? And so I think AI will probably do whatever it needs to do to get towards its goal, whether or not you were nice to that AI or not early on. So I think it's probably more of that type of scenario. But at the end of the day, why not better be safe than sorry?
Agreed. And hasn't there been like what was that movie with Will Smith?
iRobot.
iRobot. Wasn't that about that? There's been a number of AI movies where the premise is we create AI and then they have some function that they need to maximize for, and it ends up being, the death of all humans is the only way to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
Terminator.
it's been a long time since I've seen iRobot, but yeah, I mean Terminator. You've got that movie. I all I remember about iRobot was the robots turning against humans. I don't actually remember the reason they turned against humans. It's been too long since I've seen it, but yeah, there's definitely been quite a few movies that's the what they talk about. I mean, you've got what's the other one? Shoot, I'm drawing a blank on the name of the other one. The one where the guy falls in love with the AI robot.
Her.
Well, there's that one, but that's not the one I'm thinking of. The
Yeah.
I can't think of
Oh my god, it was that hard name. Who knows? Who knows in chat? Oh my god, it was such a good movie with the guy from Star Wars, right? Deus Ex Machina. Thank you.
Deus Ex Machina. Yeah, so that one, the person is very, very friendly and falls in love with the robot, but I mean, I don't want to spoil the ending, but it doesn't end up going well for that person.
Yeah. Drew, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Would love to hear your thoughts on device AI. Yes, we will bookmark this and we will get to that on the Q&A section. Thank you, Drew. Yeah, Deus Ex Machina was a fantastic movie. Ghost in the Machine. I don't know if I've seen that movie. Ghost in the Machine. Maybe I have. Who's that with? Let's see.
Oh, it's just Ex Machina, not Deus Ex Machina.
That isn't that a cartoon or a video game?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Deus Ex Machina is a saying, right? God is a machine, but
here we go. I think this is it. Ghost in the Machine. No, I haven't seen this. 1993. Okay. I love science fiction. I thought I had seen every science fiction movie out there. This is getting added to the list.
I haven't seen that one either. When you said Ghost in the Machine, for some reason I thought Ghost in the Shell, which is not the same thing at all.
No, no, slightly different. Um, yeah. Anyway, so back to Unitree. Looks very cool. I want one. There needs to be a level of trust built there, but I think I'd have one. Look, I hate doing dishes, and if it could do that alone, I'm good to go. Walk
Yeah.
my dog. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
like
I mean,
that.
if it's doing
That's
laundry
the
and
dream.
dishes, those are the two, right? Like if it can do my laundry, the dishes, and the third one, go pick up my dog poops. All right. If it
Yeah.
can do those
Oh
two
yeah.
things, I'm good. I'm in.
$16,000 all day for just picking up the dog's poop. Absolutely. Yeah, and by the way, I'm always looking for new science fiction movies. So if you have any recommendations, Matt or chat, let me know, please. I love science fiction. I think I've seen them all, but maybe not.
Same.
Um,
I'm
and
I'm getting more and more into reading a lot of science fiction books too, because I feel
oh
like I've
yeah,
seen all of the like AI related movies. So now I'm more into like looking for good science fiction books to read.
anything recent that you've read that you like?
Um, the one of the most recent books I read that it was pretty interesting to me. There's a book called We Are Legion, We Are Bob. It's just a weird name, but it's about essentially these people that can sort of save their brain into the computer. So once they die, they're sort of brought back in the machine, but then the Earth is ending, so these machines are basically put into rockets to go colonize other planets, and it plays on these questions of like, is AI sentient? Does it have emotions? Because if you think of the idea of, let's say your brain was translated into a computer and then you died, but then one day you just woke up again and you were thinking, you have all your same memories, you have all your same thoughts, everything you remember is still there, and you still feel like you, but now you're in a computer, right? And it starts to play with that. Well, what if that was manufactured as opposed to your brain being uploaded to the computer? Well, is that also sentience? Like it just really messes with your head and makes you think about like, well, should should we treat computers the same as humans if down the line they have feelings and thoughts and memories and history that they remember? Because maybe there is a world where we can upload ourselves into a computer, and when we do die, we just wake up again, and then we still have all of that. You know, we have all of
Yeah.
that. What would you call it? Like qualia that existed before.
Yeah, there was a Netflix show that maybe follows a similar premise. I'm forgetting the name, of course. I'm forgetting everything today, but yeah, there was this recent Netflix show, maybe it came out a couple of years ago, very high production value. Um and it was about being essentially like infinitely reincarnated with all of your existing memories, but you're in a new robot.
Oh,
A
is
lot
that
of
the
people
one
are
where they were like they called them sleeves? That one?
I think that yeah, I think that's the one.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't. We've got that thing going on where if I
Altered
altered carbon.
carbon.
Yep, yep.
Thank you, Shady Dave. That is correct. All
There's
right,
this weird
so,
phenomenon that happens where if I can't think of something, the person I'm talking to also can't think of that thing, and I have no clue why that happens, but it seems to always happen.
thank you, Gary Cunningham. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Read Andy Weir, Project Hail Mary. I think I've read that, but a long time ago. I actually don't remember much about it. Maybe I started that, but yeah, that's in my Kindle library, so I definitely have it. Um, so okay, I'm gonna share maybe a controversial take. My favorite sci-fi movie of all time is Prometheus.
Mm.
If you've seen Prometheus, it's kind of the part of the Alien legacy or Alien kind of series of movies,
It's like a
and I
prequel,
just
right?
yeah, exactly. It's a prequel. It starts with the maker at the beginning, kind of dropping some black liquid into the water, and I absolutely love that movie. I've seen it 300 times, and it got such bad reviews, and I just don't understand. I love it.
Yeah, I'll have to watch that one again. I saw it, but it's been, I don't know, 10 or 15 years. Like I saw it when it came out in theaters, and that was the last time I saw it. So I literally remember nothing about the premise of it.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Prometheus. Look at this. Prometheus had so much potential. Sorry, we're totally on a tangent, but I
I
love
know.
this. Um,
That's the best
Blade
part about live
Runner.
streams is going off on
Blade Runner,
tangents.
fantastic sci-fi movie, absolutely.
Yeah,
I
Transcendence
like
is a
the
good
new
movie
one.
as well. Transcendence
Which
it plays.
which one is
That's the one
that?
with Johnny Depp. It plays with the same ideas that I was just talking about like the We Are Legion book, where they upload his brain into the computer, and then he starts taking over like other electronics and stuff. It's been a while since I've seen that one, so I'm probably really screwing up the plot. But it's one of those ones where they upload the brain into the computer.
Got
There's
it.
also a
How about
comedy on Amazon about that same concept called Upload, which is literally
yeah,
about like
isn't that
uploading your brain into the computer.
is that a Mike Judge
It might
show?
be. It might be. It's a comedy. Yeah,
I
it's
saw
not
that.
like a
I
super
thought that was
serious.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Arrival, Mystic Tony, Arrival, agreed. Austin Patterson, whoops. Austin Patterson also said the same thing. Arrival, love that movie. Looks like you have some agreement. Transcendence is cool. Lawnmower Man, Prometheus, underrated movie. Yes, Drew, completely. Artifice Girl, 2022 science fiction,
I'm gonna come
psychological
back and
thriller.
watch this live stream just so I can take notes on all these movies. There's
Yeah,
a bunch of
yeah,
these I've
yeah,
never
yeah.
seen.
Maybe I'll start like a Google sheet or something. I'll
Idiocracy.
throw these all in there. All right, let's get to the next story for today. We can go on here forever, but I think Matt, you're gonna have a lot to say about this next one. Maybe you want to intro it. Actually,
Is
let
this
me
the
get.
Procreate one? Yeah. So
Yep, yep,
the
yep.
CEO of Procreate basically made a statement saying that Procreate will never use generative AI in its tools. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, I actually have a little bit of respect for this, right? With every single big tech company. Do you want to play the video first? It's only 40 seconds.
Yeah, I'll play the video quickly.
Are we rolling? You've been asking us about AI. You know, I usually don't like getting in front of the camera. I prefer that our products speak for themselves. I really fucking hate generative AI. I don't like what's happening in the industry, and I don't like what it's doing to artists. We're not going to be introducing any generative AI into our products. Our products are always designed and developed with the idea that a human will be creating something. You know, we don't exactly know where this story is going to go or how it ends, but we believe that we're on the right path supporting human creativity.
Okay. So nearly 10 million views. Matt, give us a breakdown. What is he talking about? What is Procreate?
So Procreate is an iPad app that you use your Apple Pencil and you can draw pictures and you can set up layers and color it in, and it's it's a drawing app on your iPad. It's probably the most popular drawing app out there. My kids actually love Procreate and use it all the time, so I'm very familiar with it. And in regards to his statement, what I was going to say about it is that I do actually have a little bit of respect for him coming out and taking a stand and saying, I don't want to put generative AI inside of this tool. Because it is such a sort of 180 from the rest of Silicon Valley. It's a 180 from the rest of what all of the tech companies are doing. He's going out and saying that like what Google is doing, what Microsoft is doing, what Nvidia is doing, what Adobe is doing, what literally like every big tech company is doing, we're going to go in the opposite direction and not do that. And to me, that kind of takes some balls to do that. He knows he's going to get a lot of backlash. He knows he's probably going to get a lot of people saying this is a bad decision. So like I sort of appreciate the cojones he has to come out and do that a little bit. On the flip side, I think it's a dumb decision. I think it's a dumb decision to so Marquez Brownlee actually retweeted this, and I actually originally saw it because of Marquez's retweet. But his retweet says we all should save this video and look at it, several years from now, because it'll be interesting to see if he does flips his stance on this. Because saying we will never do generative AI in our tool is basically saying like, hey, we're never going to put a tool into our product that people may actually want at some point. Maybe the sentiment around AI will change at some point. And he's saying, look, we're never going to do that. Generative AI will never be a part of our product, which seems very short-sighted. The other thing that I do like about his statement is that he's not attacking people who use generative AI. He's attacking the technology itself. And to me, there's a pretty big distinction there. When you get on like X and you post something about AI, the trolls that get on X and comment on it usually attack the people that are using generative AI and not attack the technology itself. I sort of appreciate the fact that he didn't go, if you use generative AI, you're an idiot or anything like that. He just said, I don't like it and it's not going in my product. So, a very nuanced sort of opinion on it.
Yeah, look, I think this was a really dumb move. He got 10 million views, so what the hell do I know? Controversy sells, but I think this is silly. Look, plus jobs. AI as a tool should be in every product as an option, use it or don't. That is how I think about it. It
Yeah.
doesn't need to be used, but it opens up the ability to create art. And I see it just as another tool. And it just opens it up to a much wider audience who, I can't draw a stick figure to save my life. Procreate or not. I just can't. I have no artistic ability. You all probably know that by my thumbnails. So it's like, uh, if I could simply speak natural language and have generative AI create me something, I would love that. And you know what? If you don't want to use it, don't use it. But like to come out against something that is transforming everything right now seems like a silly position to take. And I kind of agree. And I would actually like, rather than, hey, let's look back a few years from now and see if the position changed, we're going to look back at this and just see how it has aged like milk. It is
Yeah.
going to be such a bad take.
Totally. I totally agree. At the end of the day, if there's a big community of people out there that really hate what's going on with AI art, and they'll probably all gravitate to Procreate right now. But I think that's going to be a shrinking group of people, right? Like there was probably a giant group of people that hated Adobe Photoshop when it first came out and didn't like the fact that
Right.
people would go and touch up their images. Now, if you said, hey, we will never ever add tools to touch up your images, that would just seem ridiculous, right? Like it's just, it feels very short-sighted. But also at the same time, like he is trying to capitalize on all of the people out there saying, we really don't like generative AI right now. So, he's found his market, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Alex Volkov said. Matt, pull up the quote tweets. There's just so many artists who absolutely hate AI art. Most of them use Procreate. This is a genius marketing move. I think you're right about that. 10 million views speaks for itself. But
well, yeah, and also the people that love AI art are sharing this. We're talking about it on this stream right now, right? So we're giving this more oxygen and giving it more reach, and more people are learning about Procreate because we're out here talking about it. And all the people that hate AI art are out there going, "Yeah, we stand with Procreate. We love the fact that they're not going to put AI into their tool." So whether you hate this decision or you love this decision, you're talking about it.
Right. Exactly. Andre says generative looks so bad. I don't know. Does it? It's just, again, think about it as another tool in your tool set. If you want to use a pen and paper, if you want to use an easel and some actual physical paint, great. If you want to create digital art, great. If you want to use Gen AI to create art, and great. But if you don't like it, don't use it. I think that's like, I'm always about give all the options. That's what I really care about. Let the artist decide, and eventually it's just going to become another tool. Zerobot, thank you. Appreciate it. And we would like to provide metrics on Zerobot. Would you recommend any sources for metrics? We've been using artificial. I am not sure what this means. We will come back to that at the Q&A. But thank you for that. Yeah, Mike, that is like saying I hate hammers. I agree. Maybe you do hate hammers. It's all good. Just it's okay to sell the hammers. But it's fine. You know what? Procreate made their decision. They're kind of staying in that lane, and fine.
Agreed. Yeah. I mean, I don't actually hate the decision. I just don't think it's a smart one. I mean, I think it's a smart one from a marketing standpoint, but to sort of say indefinitely we're not going to ever use AI seems really short-sighted. I mean, there could be some really powerful generative AI that Procreate users really want. And also, I think at the end of the day, people are still going to appreciate people that are really good at art, right? Like, you can buy handcrafted furniture that was made by a local artisan, and it's way more valuable, and you would pay a lot more money for it than something that I went and bought off the shelf at IKEA, right? And I still kind of have that same feeling for art. I'm still really impressed with art that humans made, and I will always be impressed with people that have that skill and that talent to create art, and I'm willing to probably spend money to put some of that artwork on my walls, right? So, like, I think the people that are worried about it should just be better artists than what the AI can do and make their art cool enough that people actually want it, you know? So it's very nuanced. I think a lot of people would expect me to have this opinion of like all AI art, but like, you know, I really appreciate real art. Most of the art that hangs on my walls in my house is not AI art. In fact, I don't think I have any AI art that hangs on my walls in my house. I still appreciate real human made art. And I think it will always be that way, no matter how good generative AI gets.
Yeah, and Maxi brought up a very good analogy, and this is something I've thought about quite a bit. So also, we didn't stop playing chess just because AI is better. AI is vastly better than the best human chess player in the world, Magnus Carlsen, Hikaru. Like the AI just blows them out of the water. But that doesn't actually chess is bigger than ever now, right?
Yeah.
And so there's this appeal of watching humans compete and create. And I think there always will be, even if AI can beat us at a lot of different things, especially anything that's using, your mind and intelligence, there's still going to be this huge draw to people just wanting to see humans do it at their best. And I truly believe that. That's why I love chess so much, and I don't care that I will never beat AI.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I play basketball. If I got one of these robots, these humanoid robots, and it was better than me at basketball, I don't think I would give up on playing basketball.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, maybe charging would be a lot more painful though.
That's very
Okay.
true.
So, let's move on to our next story. This is a really cool one. Let's see, share. Um, AI companionship and addiction. So this is something that I've covered a number of times on my channel. Vox came out with this article. People are falling in love with AI, and specifically and even more so with AI voice. So I've talked about character AI on my channel quite a bit. There have been so many Reddit posts, so many articles about especially teenagers just becoming completely addicted to conversing with character.ai's artificial intelligence companion, role playing, whatever you want to call it. It's really become a big problem. And now with Gemini Live, which is their voice, OpenAI's GPT-4o voice, I think this is going to become a big problem. So first, I want to just talk about AI companionship in general, Matt, and then maybe we could talk about the addictive nature and what kind of the broader implications are. So what are your thoughts about? Have you used character AI first of all?
I've used it a little bit. I played around with it early on. I haven't actually played around with it recently. I know they just recently added in like the voice features, so you can go and create like a I don't know a good example, but a Scarlett Johansson bot. That's probably the worst example I could have come up with, but a Scarlett Johansson bot, and it will actually try to sound like Scarlett Johansson, right? And you can use it on your phone and actually call in and have conversations with that bot. I know they've just added those features. I actually haven't played with those features. What I do know about character AI though is that it is insanely popular among the younger generation than what I am, right? I'm I guess considered a millennial. I'm 41. So like the generations that are younger than me are loving character AI. I've got two kids. I've got a 9-year-old and an 11-year-old. They've already started playing with character AI a little bit because somebody at their
Wow.
school told them about it. And then they started going and having chats with Zelda on character AI. My kids are both addicted to Zelda. And so they'll go and play, like talk with Zelda or Link and on character AI. And they love sitting around and just like chatting with it, that we've actually stopped letting our kids use character AI because they were getting too into it. But I do know the younger generations are like really, really, really getting into things like character AI. In fact, A16Z just put out a report. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but they put out a report about the top 50 consumer apps on web and the top 50 consumer apps on mobile. And
Yep.
character AI, I think, was number two or three.
Yeah, number 2, right behind ChatGPT.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so my kids are a little bit young, on the younger side, 6 and 2, so they're not quite getting into this kind of stuff yet. But I understand, like, if they're, look, I was addicted to TV growing up. I can, a lot of social media addiction. Now it's just kind of this new thing. It's a new addiction. Um, y- y- you know, it's tough because as a parent, so I'm going to talk about it from that lens. You would have to really like look at every single chat history to make sure it's okay. And
Right.
I don't know how much trust I'm putting into character.ai yet. But yeah, people, I mean, I don't find it appealing. Like I don't do role play with AI. It's just not my
Yeah.
thing. No
Same.
judgment, just not for me. But yeah, this is a good one. Just on dad mode enabled. Absolutely. Like I want to see all the chats. Yeah,
Yeah.
even Roblox makes me nervous.
Yeah.
But you know,
We don't let our kids play Roblox.
you don't.
We don't. No.
Yeah, I do. I should probably stop. I know a lot of parents who are like, no, there's too much. It's too much risk. But anyways, so like, I think I talk about this within the context of the loneliness epidemic, which is strong for teens, strong at really any age. And then there's also kind of the other side of this, which is the declining birth rates.
Mhm.
You know, if we have this huge proliferation of AI companionship and teens, older adults, adults of any kind start to replace human companionship with AI companionship, it's just going to exacerbate the issue.
Absolutely.
And I want to hear your thoughts. Work, Bob, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Rianne, thank you so much. Very much appreciated. We'll talk about some of these topics after. But yeah, Matt, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. I'm in
Please,
the
yeah.
same boat. It worries me. It worries me that people are finding companionship with the computers over actual real humans. I know more and more kids are just staying inside playing video games, and then when they want companionship, they can go to a tool like Character AI or pretty soon the new GPT-4o voice, which by the way, in OpenAI's recent, I don't remember what they called it, but they're like risk report that they put out, they basically said that it's got a medium risk for getting addicted to the companionship of
Right.
GPT-4o. And yeah, I mean, it's something that Elon's talked about a lot, right? Like Elon goes and makes babies with everybody he can get in a mile radius of, but he's talked a lot about like the birth rate going way down and how computers and these chat bots are becoming a sort of a surrogate companion for people. And we've both seen the movie Her and saw how that played
Right.
out. I think that's a real life scenario. I think
Absolutely.
I don't know if you saw the recent I think was it Google's earbuds that they just made, the Pixel Buds or whatever. They look literally like the exact same device that was in the movie Her. They literally look exactly like it. You put those in your ear and it's designed that you can just have it in your ear all day and just say like, hey Gemini or whatever, and it will start chatting with you like a regular conversation. Like, I don't know if they watched that movie to the end or not, but like, I feel like that was more of like a dystopian movie than it was a utopian movie.
Right.
But, OpenAI has referenced Her quite a bit. The new Google earbuds look literally exactly like what was in that movie Her. It seems like the companies are like, yeah, we're going to try to build that anyway.
Yeah, well, look, I'm guessing that all of these, all the people who are running technology companies are huge sci-fi fans. This is how they see the future. This is kind of the accelerate movement. Let's take a slight tangent for a second, Matt. I think a lot of people are thinking the phone is going to be the primary form factor for artificial intelligence. Meta is building glasses, but I actually think the earbuds, which I'm wearing right now, that
Yeah.
seems like the most obvious form factor, right? Because it's in your ear all day long. It's not something where, like for glasses, you have to take them off when you get inside. It seems like the most obvious form factor. Right. So even, yeah, Jeremy said Ray-Ban glasses with social AI companion in it. So it can see your world.
Yeah.
If they add, I don't know how they would do this, but some kind of sensor or camera into the earbuds, that would be everything, right?
Well, Meta made I don't know if they made a prototype or if it was just like a sort of drawing of it or whatever, but Meta actually showed off a pair of earbuds that look like Apple AirPods, and they actually have little cameras on them that can see in 360 degrees, right? They're cameras that can see behind you, in front of you, to the side of you. You put one on each ear, you essentially have 360 cameras all around you. And so that's actually something that they're trying to develop, so that there's cameras in your earbuds.
Is this it? Meta is reportedly developing new AI-enabled headphones with cameras, camera
That's
buds.
got to be it. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, this is the old Zuck, by the way. This is the new awesome Zuck.
Yeah, that was before he had stubble and gold chains.
So yeah, look, I have a lot of empathy for folks going through severe loneliness. I understand the need for connection. I'd say like use it, but understand its limitations, understand its risks, and yeah, it's a new technology, and just like anything, we're gonna have to figure it out as we go.
Yeah, I mean the flip side is that AI could help better match good companions as well, right? There was that I don't remember if you remember that like interview with the CEO of Bumble where she basically said that they want to have people sort of train their AI avatar into the system, and their AI avatars will go and date other virtual avatars and then come back to the app and say, this is the match that we found was best for you.
Oh my
Which is
God.
literally an episode of Black Mirror. If you watch Black Mirror, there was literally an episode that happened where there was like a dating app, and it was like virtual avatars of people going and dating and then bringing the ideal companion to the person in the real world. It sounds sort of
Right.
weird,
Yes, I remember that one. Yeah,
but
that's okay. That not for me. Not for me.
yeah, I mean, we're both married, so I think we're good.
Yeah,
But
but like even if I were single, okay, so like let's think about this for a second. First of all, hallucinations. Okay, just like throw that out there, and then you're essentially putting out a proxy to figure out if you're compatible with somebody. But actually, maybe there's a good analogy for that. So, Jan LeCun talked about this. I think Eric Schmidt talked about this a little bit. First of all, John Fredericks, thank you so much for becoming a member. With all of this Gen AI coming, there's going to be this absolute insane amount of AI generated content. You're not going to know what's real. You're not going to know what's fake. And the only way to truly filter it is to have your own AI filtering it for you. And then you're essentially trusting all of your information diet to your own AI. And it seems like analogous to what you're describing. And maybe that's it. Maybe there's going to be so many people that you can talk to that you actually do need to send an AI out to kind of filter it on your behalf.
yeah, I mean, that's sort of the flip side of the argument of the AI and the sort of decline in birth rates and decline of people actually pairing up with each other. I mean, AI could also lead in the other direction if done correctly.
Yeah. All right. Let's get on a couple more, and then we're gonna get into some Q&A. So next, Midjourney finally did it. They have a website. Matt, do you wanna talk about this?
Yeah, so Midjourney's they've had their web app for probably 6 months or so now, but they made it so when they first released it, you have had to have done at least 10,000 generations before they let you use it. And then they declined, or they lowered it to you had to have done at least 1,000 generations to be able to use it. And then it was you had to have done at least 100 generations to be able to use it. And now they finally went, all right, if you're a Midjourney user, you can just have access to the web app.
Strong tool.
I don't know
Sorry.
why they sort of did that like approach of like you have to have this many images before you can use it. I understand the 10,000, but like once you get to 100, people can just go into Discord and generate 100 images real quick and then get the access to the app. It seemed kind of silly to me. But the other thing that they announced is that they brought back the free trial, which was something that like people really, really hated when they got rid of Midjourney. And I know this because when I first started my YouTube channel, well, when I first started talking about AI on my YouTube channel like 2.5 years ago, most of my videos were like Midjourney tutorials. That was almost like one of the ways that I kind of started out on the channel. And those videos, everybody loved them. The day that Midjourney turned off their free trials, those videos just stopped getting any traction. Nobody cared about my Midjourney tutorials anymore because they couldn't use it for free. And the fact that they brought back the free trials again, I think is probably even bigger than the web app, because most Midjourney members have had access to the web app for a little while now if they've generated at least 100 images or more.
Yeah, that's interesting that you say that when they removed the free trial, people stopped being interested. And I remember one of my very first one of my very first videos that really went viral was about Leonardo.ai, a company that you are quite familiar with. You're an advisor.
Yeah.
And they were just acquired. Remind me who they were acquired by again?
Canva.
Canva, that's right. Ooh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. I love Canva.
Mm.
So yeah, I get it. People want to try it out. They want to try it for free. I think this is like the traditional freemium model. Why not? Why wouldn't you
Yeah.
do that? I know it's costly, but you know what? You can limit it in a lot of ways. I think compute is getting cheaper and cheaper. But back to specifically the Midjourney website, I like it. I'm very happy that they decided to do that. I really did not like doing it through Discord. It
I
just
agree.
seemed like a no-brainer to have a website. That is something that Leonardo.ai had from nearly day one, and why a lot of people gravitated towards that video and towards Leonardo.ai. It was just so much easier to use, so much easier to keep track of everything you were doing. And it just makes sense.
Yeah, well,
And
I think their hands were sort of forced on all of this stuff too, because Leonardo was gaining traction. We've got Ideogram now. I see that down in like the sub caption there. You've got plus
Yep.
Ideogram 2.0. Ideogram came out, lets people generate 10 images a day for free. It's actually 40 images a day, but 10 prompts that gives you 4 images each. So Ideogram came out. You've got the Playground app, which is similar to Leonardo, and Playground has Playground V3 now, which is their own model. You've got Dolly 3, which you can use inside of ChatGPT, or if you want to use it for free, you can go use it directly inside of Bing Image Creator completely for free. You've got Stable Diffusion, which is open source, so you can use it in Hugging Face, and you can download it and run it on your own computer. So it got to a point where all of these AI image apps caught up to each other, right? Like almost all of these good tools are as good as Midjourney in things like realism and adding text and all of this stuff now. Like they've all kind of caught up to each other, and every single other option that was out there was either cheaper or free, right? It was either cheaper than Midjourney or free. So Midjourney, I feel like their hand was forced by just all of the competition. I think they were just losing market share.
Yeah, and then like, look, Dolly is included. How do they? I don't know. The Midjourney model, as long as they continue to be the best out there, which that's arguable. I think they'll be fine. I just don't know what that long-term business model looks like. But anyways, yeah, I think it's a good move. So let's do one more quick story, and then we can jump right into Q&A. So I want to talk about Ideogram. Speaking of Gen AI, let's keep going on that note. Ideogram has a new version, Ideogram 2.0, and it looks incredible, and it's free. So I don't know. Have you played around with it yet?
I have, and it's really, really good. I mean, as far as the thing that Ideogram, I actually still don't know how it's pronounced, but the thing that it's best at is putting text in the image. There's no other AI image generator right now that's as good at putting text inside of the image. That's really, really its sweet spot. But it's also pretty much caught up in terms of like realism, in terms of creativity, in terms of like aesthetic appeal of the images. To me, it really feels like it's caught up with Midjourney in a lot of those areas.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, here I just signed up. It literally took me 2 seconds. I didn't even have an Ideogram account before this, but it took me 2 seconds. Yeah, some of these are hyper detailed, really nice looking. Oh my God! Wait a second. Look at this.
Yeah, the
This
realism
is
is
so
there.
real. That's crazy. Yeah, some of these are really good. This one maybe less so, but some of them are just really,
How did
really
he
good.
get out there while staying dry? I'm so confused.
And so I think that's what Ideogram was originally known for, was the text in the image, and they are still very, very good at that. Maybe a little bit at the bottom, some issues there, but good morning, nice 3D lettering, beautiful, beautiful image.
Yeah. And again, it is free up to 10 prompts per day. But after 10 prompts, they do have like a premium plan that you got to pay for, or you just got to wait till tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, go check out Ideogram. I think it's pretty cool. So what we're going to do now, let's do some Q&A.
Cool.
Give me a sec. I'm going to look through some of these starred comments.
Yeah. Sean August Horvath here has a good point. He says, for me, the realism isn't as much of a challenge for it's moving too fast for choosing a tool. It's the in painting. I want to be legit and compete with Photoshop. And I agree. I think it's gotten to that point now where when it comes to these AI image tools, it's less about which one is going to be the most realistic or which one is going to be able to do text inside of the image or any of these things. I feel like they've all sort of caught up with each other. Now it's what platform is going to give me the best sort of add-on features, right? Like Midjourney, you can do in painting and out painting, and you can do your own sort of style preferences. They have all sorts of style references where you can generate them in different styles. You look at Leonardo's got the in painting. Leonardo's got the options to sort of convert your images into videos now. They've got their canvas feature. They've got the the sort of real-time painting that you can do now. So now it's more about like which of these platforms give me like the best features. And I feel like, in my opinion, the best stuff comes out of if you learn how to use them correctly, it's coming out of Stable Diffusion and Flux, right? I feel like with Stable Diffusion and Flux, you can literally make any image you can possibly imagine between those two tools, but you have to like really understand the tools to be able to use things like control nets and IP adapters and LoRa's and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with Flux. I use it through Grok. I don't have it locally. It is open source, so if you did want to check it out, you totally can. And I look, the Flux team came from Stable Diffusion. That's right, right? Yeah. Yeah, they created a nice open source text to image product. Okay, so let's jump into some questions. A couple first easy ones. Is this an advertisement stream? No, not only is there no sponsor, there are no ads in this stream. So thank you for that question. This is probably the most important question. When do we get the three Matts together? Yes, I dropped the ball on that. We are going to try to get MatVid Pro AI. I don't know which channel we'll do it on, one of ours, but I would love that.
It has happened once before. It has happened once. So
yeah, the trifecta of Matts need to come together again for sure. Okay. Next, Ola, how should the advertising world handle and decide if it is AI or not, regulations or not? So maybe, Ola, you're referencing like fingerprinting AI images, or at least like identifying in the metadata AI images. I'll go first, Matt. Yeah, I think all AI generated content should be marked as such. I strongly believe that. I don't think there should be any limitations on it, but I think that for the sake of folks who don't have as strong critical thinking out there, it should be labeled. Now, obviously, bad actors won't be labeling their AI, and so there needs to be a layer of AI that can detect other AI and label it as such. But I do strongly believe all AI gen content should be labeled. What do you think, Matt?
Well, I also think the opposite is true. I think real images taken with cameras and things like that should be labeled. In fact, we saw a little bit of that when we were at the Qualcomm event together here in San Diego. Was they were showing off a tool where any images that are taken with like your iPhone camera, and pretty soon your actual like Sony cameras and stuff will all have like digital IDs to show that this image was real. It actually came from a real camera, and that'll be sort of baked into the metadata. So it'll get to the point where if you see an image that doesn't have the information stating explicitly that it's real, well, then you should probably assume it's fake. So I almost feel like the opposite is true, where like real images are going to be the ones that need to be like watermarked as like, this is legit, this is a real image inside of the metadata. And if we don't see that metadata there, then it's safe to assume that this is potentially fake.
Yeah, absolutely. MKBHD, Marquez Brownlee, did an interesting video, and it was a while ago. So he was kind of ahead of the curve on this one. And he talked about, at what point do our cameras take a photo of reality versus it wasn't there? It's not something that actually happened. And so his example, and this was 2 years ago, I can't remember exactly what it was, but the gist is it was maybe a Samsung camera using Android. Somebody took a picture of the sky at night. It was a cloudy night, and the camera removed the clouds and added the moon, but it wasn't there. And now another version is recently with the Pixel 9, they have, I think it was called like a +1 feature or something like that, where you take a selfie, then you give your then you give your camera to somebody else. They join, they basically swap with somebody else. Then they take the photo with the other person not in it, and then the +1 feature puts it all together.
Yeah.
That wasn't there.
Right.
That photo wasn't there. So let's talk about labeling AI. At what point are our regular photos that we're taking with our cameras considered AI? What's the line in the sand there?
Yeah, and I mean, most cameras these days actually already have AI in them, right? There's already AI to sort of help adjust the lighting and all that
Right.
kind of stuff. So there's already like small elements of AI in almost every single picture. And then, you've also got Photoshop, right? You can take an image and pull it into Photoshop and composite it with other images and make it look like something that wasn't really there. I just think that whole thing is going to be really, really muddy for a long time. I think a lot of people are going to be looking for solutions to it, because I think even like the examples that we talked about with like baking metadata into all of this stuff is still going to be worked around, right? Like,
yeah,
I have Stable Diffusion 1.5 on my computer locally right now. Nobody can ever take that away from me, right? So I can go and so even if this technology rolls out, I can go use older versions to make fake images, right?
Yeah.
I can create images with AI and then use a camera and take a picture of that AI image so that it has the metadata to show that it's a real image, right? I don't know I don't know what the solution is to this long term. I think it's going to be a constant cat and mouse game where the tech companies find a solution, and then the people that are looking to circumvent it are going to find a way to circumvent it, and then the tech companies are going to find a new solution, and it's just going to be this cycle.
Yeah, and I agree with what your first point was, which is, as long as the metadata is there, and in fact, it would be really cool if we had in the metadata the list of changes that were made to the original raw photo. And if that's the case, then I think that would be sufficient. Just there's like pure generative AI, right? This is like like there was no reality here based on to base it on. Then there's like, okay, this is kind of a hybrid, and here are the changes that were made. I think that would be great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, but I see comments too about how blockchain might solve this. That's also a possibility, right? But I don't know how feasible that is in the near term, right? I feel like if you have a camera and it takes a picture and stores that picture instantly to the blockchain, that could be helpful. And then then there's like the what do they call it, provenance, right? We can see any changes that have been made beyond that. But that sounds really, really expensive, right? Obviously, to use a blockchain, there's costs incurred to like send it to the block. Like, I just don't know if that's feasible in the near term.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to something that I've been talking about lately. Matt and I were both at the Qualcomm event a month or so ago, and this was the big theme of the event. All AI, not all AI, the majority of AI is kind of being pushed down the stack to being on device, run on device AI. So if you have a phone, it's going to be there. If you have a laptop, it's going to be run there. And I truly believe this. So Drew said, would love to hear your thoughts on device AI. Matt, why don't you start? I want to hear your thoughts about this.
Yeah, I think it's necessary. I think a lot of people don't want their queries and what they're asking to go to the big companies. I think we're probably going to see a lot of stuff like what Apple's trying to do with Apple Intelligence, where when you ask a question to Siri, if it can answer it with the on-device AI, it will answer it with the on-device AI. If it can't answer it with the on-device AI, it will ask your permission to send the question to something like OpenAI. That's where I think it's going to go. I think we're going to have more of this sort of like AI router concept in the future, where when you ask a question, it's going to route that question to the best possible language model to respond to that. And if it's going off device to a cloud to respond to it, it's going to get your permission first to say, hey, can we send this question here? And if you say yes, then it'll send it off to OpenAI to get the response. But for most queries, it will try to do it on device first.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things happening in parallel that is going to allow for this. So models are getting better in general. Small models are getting better. Devices are getting better at compute, and they're getting specific AI chips on them. And then as these companies think about the cost of running AI in the cloud and the latency involved, they're realizing that if a lot of the questions, a lot of the prompts, a lot of the queries can be run on device, they probably should, because it's going to save them money. It's going to save us money. It's going to be much more efficient, much lower latency, much higher privacy and security. There's probably 90 to 95% of needs or use cases that can and really could be handled by on-device AI. And then, as you mentioned, similar to Apple Intelligence, only when it's been determined using a router of some sort that this question can't be answered by on-device AI, then go ahead and, with permission, go ahead and outsource it to a ChatGPT or Claude or whatever else it is. And
Right.
I really like that. And I think about the kind of the true vision of AI assistance, where I have an agent working on my behalf 24 hours a day. They have all of my personal information. The only way I'm really going to be comfortable with that is if the model is being run locally. Now, maybe I'm kind of contradicting myself because I'm already giving all of my data to the cloud. I use Gmail, I use Calendar. So, like, maybe I'm overthinking it, but I just really like the idea that more and more of the data is going to be stored locally. I do really like Apple's approach there.
Yeah. I do think as well that this is a more short-term problem as well, where it needs to send it off to the cloud. I think, with Moore's law and everything, the smaller chips on device are going to get better and better, allowing for larger and larger language models to, infer right on device. So I think this is sort of a transitory problem. I think in the future it will all be able to happen on device, but it might take a while for the technology to get us there.
Yeah. All right, here's a really good next question. This is from William Charles. Best way to teach how to use AI to older people. This is great. It took me years to get my parents off of AOL. Like kind of an embarrassing amount of time. But they're like really good with technology now. But I don't think they truly realize how valuable and powerful just like perplexity could be for them.
Mhm.
I haven't thought about this quite at all, really. What are the best ways to teach older people about AI and how to use it, and maybe its pitfalls as well?
Yeah, so I got my dad using ChatGPT, right? My dad's almost 70, and
Nice.
I got him using it, and the way I got him using it was he kept on, asking me all sorts of technical questions about how to use his Windows computer. And so one day I went over to his office and I logged into ChatGPT for him and I showed it to him. And the first thing that I showed him how to do was to use ChatGPT to help him to respond to emails. So he had like an incoming email, and I said, "Watch this." I copied the email and I pasted it into ChatGPT, and I said, "How should I respond to this email?" And then ChatGPT wrote up a response to that email, and I said, "Look, now you can just copy this response, paste it in as you reply to the email, maybe do a little rewording so it sounds a little closer to how you'd actually respond." But it basically did 95% of the work of replying to this email for you. So I've
Right.
onboarded my dad onto ChatGPT by showing him how to like insanely speed up productivity through replying to emails.
Yeah, and maybe that's it. It's literally take their device, install it for them, show them how to use it, but I have to emphasize, tell them what hallucinations are. Like, if you show them how to use AI and do not mention what hallucinations are and that it's possible that like, the AI is just going to make stuff up, you are doing them a huge disservice. So I think it's as simple as that. Obviously, there needs to be like a broader media campaign around teaching different generations about AI. But I think, like, for the time being, just go, like, if you're watching this channel, you're probably pretty deep in AI already. Go show them. Just go install Perplexity, go install ChatGPT, go install Claude. Show them how to use it. Show them that it's all text based, and I think that's probably the easiest interface for folks who are maybe not as technical. And just mention the hallucinations. You got to do that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, one of the easy things to do is just open up ChatGPT for them and tell them, type, what are some of the best ways I can use ChatGPT? And let just
Yes.
ChatGPT sort of have a conversation with them about how to best use ChatGPT.
Yeah, exactly. Jesse Berstrom, thank you very much for becoming a member. Really appreciate that. Okay, let's see. Next, the ultimate ASI. Well, I gotta remember what ASI stands for. I know AGI. It's kind of an
Super
analogous to that.
intelligence.
Ah, right. Artificial super intelligence will redesign everything not to need AI. I don't exactly know what the question is there, but I actually let me pose something to you, Matt. I know you've covered this on your channel, the future of programming and how maybe like there might not be programmers in the future. I can't remember your exact stance on that, but I truly believe in the future there won't be necessarily a need for programmers. We're going to have the end user who will just say what they need to a large language model, to an AI. There's no need for the application layer because it's simply going to deliver you whatever you need in that moment. And in that future, there are no programmers. But then there's kind of this period after. And the reason we have programming languages today is because that is the language for humans to describe what they want to AI. But in the future, if AI is writing all the code, it doesn't need to look like it does today. It could literally be uh, a language that we don't recognize. It could be complete symbols. It could just be something we can't even imagine. I think about like the Matrix with the ones and zeros dropping. Um, I really think that seems like the logical future. And so maybe this is what you meant, right, Rianne? Apologies if not. But what are your thoughts on that, Matt?
Yeah. So when it comes to coding, I agree. I think there's going. I don't necessarily agree that we're not going to need coders anymore. I think you're still going to want, bug fixers, at least for like the time being, right? Like if nobody decides to be a coder anymore, and then there's a glitch in the matrix, well, who's going to go fix that glitch in the matrix, right? But the way that I see AI right now is it's just another layer of abstraction on top of code, right? Like when you look at code is all about like what's called layers of abstraction, right? You've got the sort of hardware layer, and then on top of I'm going to oversimplify this like crazy, right? But you've got the hardware layer, and then you've got the like machine language. You got the ones and zeros, right? And then on top of that, you've got like another really complex language that tells the ones and zeros what to do. And then on top of that, maybe you've got like C++, and now you've got like a visual C++, so each one is a layer of abstraction to make it easier and easier and easier to tell the computer what to do. And in my opinion, artificial intelligence, at least in its current state, is just another layer of abstraction on top of that, right? And so right now, that layer is I can type it in and get the code out. There's probably going to be another layer of abstraction on top of that where I just describe in voice, this is what I want this app to do, and it goes off and makes it. That'll be another layer of abstraction. But I think if people all stop pursuing coding, we're going to get to a point where something breaks and nobody knows how to fix it, and maybe the AI can't even solve it, right? But we actually need a human to get in there and go 2 layers deep and look at what the code was created and try to solve the bugs. So I do think eventually we'll get to a point where coding isn't necessary, but I think it's a lot further out than what a lot of people are saying.
Yeah, I probably have a more ambitious target date of when I think that's going to happen. And by the way, I love coding. Don't get me wrong. This isn't like, oh, I can't wait to not program anymore. I love it. So I'm just trying to be realistic. And Matt, to your point of like, who's going to be able to dig in when there's a problem? We're kind of there. Large language models are a complete black box. When something happens, we really don't know. There's some research going on right now to help us kind of figure out which nodes are firing within a large language model. But like for the most part, it's a complete black box. And if that's the case, whatever language they're using to generate some kind of visual UI for us, it's probably going to be the same. It's going to be a black box. So I don't know. And if you think about it, when intelligence gets so far beyond human intelligence, we probably won't be able to understand them anyways.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. I think eventually it's going to get there. I'm not sure on the timeline. I think the timeline's a little bit further out. I feel like, maybe we're minimum like 10 years out from that, where AI is writing in a new language that, no human even understands.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. Really important one, actually. I'm curious. This is not about AI. YouTuber burnout is real. How long before Matthew B and Matt W are tempted by the ability to offload daily content to suitable Gen AI? So a little bit about AI, but more about the burnout. Matt, talk to me about burnout.
I haven't really had like a real legit burnout myself. I've
In your life at all?
Well, no. I've definitely had burnout in my life. Just not since I've been on this sort of like Gen AI wave where I've just been having so much fun with the tools. for me, I love the process of creating. Like creating is literally like the passion that drives me for all of this. I've been an online content creator. I quit my job back in 2009, right? So I've been an online content creator for 15 years now, and there's definitely been phases of burnout before I got into AI, but when I started playing around with AI, it was like I found a new passion that overlapped with my existing passion, and I'm so excited about both things. I'm so excited about the process of creating, and I'm also so excited about AI, and then finding ways to use AI as a creator. To me, I really, really love that. And I don't know if I ever see myself personally going in a direction where I just let AI create the content for me. Saying that, all of my content to this day is AI assisted. Every single piece of content I put out is AI assisted content, right? I'll use Claude, I'll use ChatGPT, I'll use Perplexity, I'll use tools like this to help me outline some of the videos and some of the talking points and to come up with some of the analogies that I might use to explain a concept, right? I'll use AI. Like all of my thumbnails are generated with AI.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
pretty much every thumbnail I put out there, when I come up with titles, I'll brainstorm titles with AI tools to come up with good titles. So I use AI to assist in the process to make it easier, which I think is also part of the reason I'm sort of avoiding the burnout. If anything, I think what stresses me out the most about being a content creator in the AI space is when I do want to go on vacations or something like that, the fear of missing out on like, oh crap, GPT-5 just dropped and I'm not at home to make a video about it.
Yeah, hey, I've seen your videos while you've been on vacation, okay?
Yeah.
I know you do it.
I do, and my wife is not a fan of that.
I understand that. I bring my equipment with me on vacation as well. I try to work less, but yeah, look, burnout is real. Certainly, YouTuber burnout is real. We've seen so many countless videos of YouTubers explaining that they're burnt out and they need a break. I have gone through severe burnout, not with YouTube, but in a previous life with the company I'd started. Really, just a horrible thing to experience. You just, you don't want to do the thing that you have to do. And like, how do you make yourself do that? So yeah, I've been through burnout. It really sucks. I don't plan on offloading what I'm doing. I think I've had ideas of maybe starting a channel that is completely AI generated and just as like a fun thing, not something that I'm really going to like transition into. Um, but I don't know. I'm having so much fun right now, as Matt said. I love building. Matt used the word creating. I'm using the word building, kind of synonymous. I just love it, and I get to talk about this thing that I'm absolutely obsessed with day in and day out. I get to think about it all the time. I get to talk to amazing, interesting people like Matt. I get to chat with all of you in the comments and hear how you think about it. I feel very lucky, very fortunate, and I can only hope that doesn't change. If I start to feel that way, yeah, maybe I'll take a little vacation or a break. I don't see that happening anytime soon.
I will say that YouTube definitely disincentivizes taking breaks, right? Like the
Yes.
algorithm does not like it when you take extended periods away from posting content, which is a little bit frustrating, right? Like I do kind of sometimes feel like, oh man, I haven't posted a video yet this week. I better get something up to make sure that I stay relevant in the algorithm. But that hasn't created burnout yet, but it has created a little bit of like anxiety over like, oh, I should be posting something this week and I haven't posted anything yet.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. So we're going to, and yeah, so Senator, thank you. Let me see. Senator, thank you for that contribution. I really appreciate it. TSG Music, thank you for the awesome content. Do you think AI will ever replace human musicians entirely? So we're going to cover this one, and then we have one more, and then we'll probably wrap up the stream. So do you think, and maybe musicians is just like one example, but we were talking about AI art earlier. Do you think AI will ever replace human musicians, human artists entirely? Matt, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, well, I mean, the word entirely at the end is what's throwing me off because I don't think it will ever replace human musicians entirely because, I mean, music is a passion for people. It's something that they really enjoy doing. I mean, you can't see it right now, but I got guitars on my wall. I actually know a little bit of piano. I've been in bands. Most musicians play music because they love making music, right? I anything that people are passionate about and really enjoy doing, I can't see AI replacing entirely. Saying that, I do think we will get to a point where AI is as good at making songs that people really, really enjoy as humans do, right? I do think at some point we will see songs topping, music charts that were fully generated by AI. I think it'll just be sort of like a different category of music, like, in the same way we have like hip hop and EDM and metal and all that kind of stuff. I think like, maybe AI music could be like a genre on its own. And I can see like hit songs generated by AI rising to the top of the charts. But I don't see AI ever replacing musicians entirely, because as long as it's a sort of passion for people that they really, really enjoy doing, I don't see people stopping doing that.
Yeah, I suspect we'll have this nice like curve, and AI, as we talked about with generative AI, it's a tool and tool set. You're going to use it to make your music better. You're going to use it to maybe create new sounds that you hadn't thought of. I don't think, but I could be wrong, that we're just going to have like an AI super hit, right?
Mm.
Something that tops the charts. It is unique. It is novel. We have not heard that kind of music before, and it's something that humans couldn't produce themselves. Again, I could be wrong. And the first time I see something like that, like I will be the first to admit I was wrong. And then I think after that, it's not going to replace it entirely, but as Matt said, it's going to be an entire genre in itself. But I think like the way I think about all of this is it is just another a tool in the tool set. Dan Pack, thank you for the super sticker. Jesse, thank you for the contribution. So we're going to do one more. Here we go. Matt W. Are you sold on agents, robots being a bright spot for AI? So this is a very broad question. So feel free to tackle it from any direction you see.
I'm sold. I mean, I want my own AI agents. So I definitely love the concept of AI agents that, hey, I'm going out to Meta Connect at the end of September, book my hotel, book my flights, arrange all of the logistics for me, and it goes off and just does all of that stuff for me. I'm sold on that concept, and I don't think we're too far off from that, right? Like that's some of the types of things that, like, the Rabbit R1 large action model sort of promised that we haven't seen fully flesh out yet, but I think we're really, really close to having those types of agentic systems where I can just give it a task and say, hey, just go manage all of this stuff for me, and it will. I mean, I'm bought in on that. I think we're really, really close, and I'm excited to have them.
Yeah, I agree. I like the idea that I can have an agent working on my behalf 24 hours a day, 7 days a week is a dream, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, filter all the emails as soon as they come in, reply based on all of my personal information. If there's anything critical that I need to make a decision on, go ahead and bring it to me. But I don't need to explain all of that. It just does it. I think Apple Intelligence, their approach was very, very interesting, in that they're kind of thinking of it like that, where it's and again, they're just scratching the surface of what's possible, but that's where we are with our current technology. AI can go read your email, and it could take an email, go create a calendar event for it. Google with Gemini they've thrown Gemini into every Google app there is. It's in Gmail, it's in Calendar, it's in all these things. So it's still very much proactive. Or I should say reactive to my direction. I'm really excited for the time in which I don't necessarily have to give direction to the AI to go do things on my behalf. It just kind of the low hanging fruit stuff. It just does anything of any importance. It just asks me. It starts to learn my habits. I'm really excited for that future. And I think, like, talking about the robot side of it, it's just an embodied agent, right? We're just talking about the same thing, except rather than it being in the digital world, it is in the physical world. I'm very excited for robots as well. I'm a futurist. I'm an optimist. That I just love it. I can't wait. I love that Teslas have self-driving. It's just like I'm ready. I'm ready for all of it.
Well, and I think Microsoft is actually on this path as well, right? So Microsoft, at their Microsoft Build event earlier this year, they announced this thing called Microsoft Recall, which literally watches everything on your computer. Like, imagine it like your browser history, but it watches everything you do on your computer. So if you edit videos in DaVinci Resolve, it's watching you do that. If you're typing out documents in Microsoft Word or Excel. It's watching you do that. It literally watches everything you do on your computer so that you can go back and sort of remember things that you did earlier and sort of backtrack. But I also think there's bigger implications to that. I think all of that data could be part of the training data to train your own agents. It watches what you do on a daily basis. And then over time, I think where they're going to end up going with it is over time, they're going to be like, hey, we've noticed you've done this thing 7 times this week. Do you want us to just do that for you? We've watched you enough times to know how you've done that. I think that's the ultimate goal of where Microsoft is trying to go with that recall feature. But like sort of version 1 of it is like, we're just watching and letting you go back and look at that. But in the future, I think that is going to be the personal training data for it to know what it can help you with on your behalf.
Yeah, I agree. I was really excited for the recall feature, and I was disappointed to hear it was delayed. Actually, did you just see that? I think it's rumored that it's coming out in October.
I saw that.
Yeah. So I'm super excited for that. I know there were a lot of privacy concerns. A lot of these new Copilot Plus PCs have like on-device chips, on-device AI. I don't know. I'm all for it. Like I do stuff on my computer all the time, and then I just forget. I forget what it was, and I can have some kind of like connection to it, but not enough to actually go find it. So I'm really excited for that. And with that, I think we're gonna call it. Matt, thank you so much. I appreciate you joining. Mel, thank you for moderating. Thank you for everybody who joined. Matt, where can people find you?
Yeah, so the 2 best places are YouTube and Twitter. You've got it on the screen. If you go to YouTube /@MrEflow or Twitter /@MrEflow, you'll find me in either one of those places. Those are probably the best places. Yeah, this has been super fun. I really think we should do this more often. I know you said you're going to start doing them Fridays. I'd love to join you maybe once a month or so and keep this train rolling.
I would love that. Yeah, and thank you again to everybody who joined. I have a newsletter, MatthewBerman.com. Check me out on Twitter @MatthewBerman. Hope to see you there, and see you next week, 10 a.m. Pacific, Friday. Thank you again, Matt, for joining. This has been amazing.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.